Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 9, text 9. Nachamam tani karmani nibadhnanti dhananjaya udasina badasinam asaktam teshu karmasu. Now, Krishna, in the previous verses, he has described how everything is functioning under his will. Just like the wind blowing everywhere always stays within the sky, within the space. So everything that is conducted is within his will. And under his will, this creation is happening, the maintenance is happening, the annihilation is happening, how the living entities are wound up into the body of Mahavishnu and are let loose again at the time of creation. Everything is happening under his will. And now one might think, if Krishna is intimately connected in this material activities, then these activities might be really troubling him, really affecting him. Because anybody who is fully involved in managing something, his mind is full of those activities, he's subjected to the dualities of these activities. So is Krishna also like that? So this verse is very special in terms of making us understand the position of Krishna, how he is transcendental to all this, even though he is intimately connected, even though his supreme will reigns. So, in other words, this verse is saying that he has nothing to do with any of these dualities. How he is neutral, although he has his hand in every sphere of activity. So, nachamam tani karmani nibadhananti dhananjaya. O Dhananjaya, O Arjuna, tani karmani na nibadhananti mam. They do not bind me like an ordinary person who gets bound by any action. A person who is managing, taking decisions, working actively, he is bound by those actions and decisions, face the consequences of his actions. No, Krishna is not bound like an ordinary living entity. Nachamam tani karmani nibadhananti dhananjaya. Then how Krishna is situated? Udasinavat asinam. Asinam means situated, seated or situated. Udasinavat. Udasina means very neutral, like a judge. He is looking at everything, everybody, good activities, bad activities. He is determining their judgment, but he is not attached to anything. Asaktam is not attached. Teshu karmasu. Asaktam teshu karmasu. I am not participating in their activities, or whatever activity I do, it is not considered karma. So, Krishna's activities in this world are neutral. The Lord is always neutral in the material activities. Even though he has control over every minute detail, just like the government might have control over every minute detail. But the judge, he is sitting, he gives the opportunity, he gives the commandment. The government should implement this, implement that, give this opportunity, be equal to everyone. Without him setting the law, there is no proper functioning. But he's also adjudicating people. Somebody is being hanged, somebody is being put into jail. So even though he has set up the law equally to everyone, why somebody is being rewarded, somebody is being punished? It's because he's got nothing to do. It is the deeds of his own, or the person who is suffering or enjoying. He's deserved his own suffering or enjoyment, and the judge is merely giving what is due for that person. And one should not think that just like the judge is sitting there It's got nothing to do looking at the activities of people and adjudicating. Oh, poor man, he doesn't have any enjoyment. He's always sitting in the judge, he's sitting in the court. So one might think God is also like that. But Prabhupada is clarifying Krishna's Krishna is very active in his own abode, spiritual abode. But in this world, he acts like a judge, very neutral. So in the purport, he clarifies one should not think in this connection that the Supreme Personality of Godhead has no engagement. In his spiritual world, he is always engaged. There are several verses in Brahma Samhita. आनंद चिन्मय रस प्रतिभाविताभिः ताभिर्य एव निजरूपतया कलाभिः गोलोक एव निवसति अखिलात्मभूतो गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि. He has activities which are Ananda Chinmaya Rasa in nature, full of spiritual bliss, full of knowledge, full of happiness, full of eternity, quite unlike these material activities which eventually cause misery. But he has activities in Nectar of Devotion, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu's commentary given by Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu was written by Rupa Goswami, but the commentary explanation was given by Srila Prabhupada. So Rupa Goswami writes various activities of Krishna. In chapter 26, he describes there are 6 features of conjugal love affairs called peacemaking, peacemaking, picking a quarrel, going to meet one's lover, sitting together, separation, and support. So Lord Krishna, he expanded an empire of these 6 features. He was like the ruling prince of this empire. Somewhere he was picking quarrels with the young girls. Somewhere he was scratching them with the nails of parrots. Somewhere he was going to visit the gopis. And somewhere he was negotiating through cowherd friends to take shelter of the gopis. Not just in Nectar of Devotion, in Srimad Bhagavatam also Sukadeva Goswami, he describes how every day Krishna would engage in pastimes, accompanied by Lord Balarama, surrounded by these cowherd boys, the Gopas, and these cows. They would enter the forest of Vrindavan as he played his flute. And all these boys would be decorated themselves with newly grown leaves, peacock feathers, garlands, the flower buds, and even they would find these colored minerals, natural minerals, and they would dye their body. It's like a natural tattoo. The tattoos are imitation of what originally God does, but with natural colors. And so the Krishna and Balarama, they would, along with the cowherd friends, they would go like that. They would dance together, sing together. They would even wrestle together. They would fight, mock fights. Krishna would dance, and some of the boys would sing, and others played flutes, and the kartals, and they had these buffalo horns, and some other people praised his dancing. In this way, they were enacting their childhood pastimes. They would be running around, slapping, fighting. Sometimes Krishna and Balaram would pull the hair on the boys' heads, and they would pick some fruits from the trees and then run away. And they would play games of trying to touch one another, hide and seek, blindfolded games. And they would imitate the sounds of animals, imitate the animals, jump around like frogs, play jokes, and they would ride in swings, and they would imitate the monarchs, like the kings, how they would act. So, in this way, you see all kinds of fun activities they were engaged in. So, God is never inactive, or one should not think God is just a boring person only giving judgments and setting up rules and in charge of this material world. He has his own abode. All these activities are there, always giving pleasure to his devotees. And anybody who is qualified to enter that abode is qualified to play part in these pastimes. And Krishna is welcoming. Anyone who wishes, simply by desiring to do so, one can enter. At the time of death, if one desires to go back to Godhead, Krishna will take that person. Because yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajatyante kalevaram tam tamevaiti kaunteya sada tadbhava bhavitaha. Whatever is our state of being at the time of death, that state we will attain for sure. Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram yah prayati tyajandeham sayati paramam gatim. Antakale, at the time of death, mameva smaran muktva kalevaram, one who quits the body remembering me alone, he attains my abode. This is Krishna's promise. It is not some phantasmagoria we are making it up. Krishna's statements, own statements in Bhagavad Gita and from the scriptures. Further, his activities are mentioned in Nectar of Devotion, where Rupa Goswami describes his anugas, his constant associates. They always stay in Vrindavan and their bodies are decorated with garlands of pearls and with bangles and bracelets of gold. And their colors are like black bees and the golden moon, and they are dressed just to suit their particular special bodily features. And they would be ordered, their duties would be understood by the statement from Mother Yashoda. So let's say there is this boy called Bakula. So she would say, "Hey Bakula, please cleanse the yellowish dress of Krishna." And then there is another boy called Varida. You just flavor the bathing water with aguru scent. And Rasala, you just prepare the betel nuts. You can all see that Krishna is approaching. There is dust overhead, and cows can be seen very distinctly. So this is the arrangement that she is arranging just before Krishna is arriving from the pastures. The dust is raised from the hoofs of the calves and cows, and the dust is smeared on the face of Krishna, making him even more beautiful. Tam gorajas churita kuntala baddha baraha vanya prasuna ruchirekshana charuhasam. So this dust raised by the cows is smearing his lotus face. Churita Kuntala and his curly hairs having this peacock feather, and Vanya Prasuna decorated with the flowers of the forest, Vrindavan forest, and Ruchira Ikshana, beautiful smiling face and pleasing eyes, Charuhasam, and Anugai Rupagiya Kirtihi. All these followers are praising him, chanting his glories, singing. And in this way, Krishna entered back his abode, his home, his neighborhood, while all these gopis were eagerly waiting when they would see Krishna. Oh, Krishna is back. And then there is another description of this another Anuga, Raktaka. Among the Anugas, Raktaka is considered to be the chief. He wears yellow clothing and his bodily color is just like newly grown grass. He's very expert in singing and is always engaged in the service of the son of Maharaj Nanda. L- So Rupa Goswami prays, let us all become the followers of Raktaka in offering transcendental loving service to Krishna. So one time Raktaka told Rasada, another devotee, just hear me. Please place me so that I may always be engaged in the service of Lord Krishna, who has now become famous as the lifter of the Govardhana hill. So these devotees engaged in his personal service are always very cautious because they know that becoming personal servitors of Lord Krishna is not an ordinary thing. And it is said that a person who offers respect even to the ants engaged in the service of the Lord becomes eternally happy. So, what is there to say of one who offers Krishna direct service? And Raktaka also said, not only is Krishna my worshipable and servable Lord, but also the girlfriends of Krishna, the gopis, are equally worshipable and servable by me. And not only the gopis, but anyone who is engaged in the service for the Lord is also worshipable and servable by me. I know that I must be very careful not to become overly proud that I am one of the servitors and devotees of the Lord. You see, from this statement, one can understand how, even though he's a great devotee, Raktaka, he is very cautious, he is very careful in engaging in service of the Lord. He is very respectful to other devotees, even to the ants. He considers anybody who serves Krishna to be glorious. That's the appreciation we should have towards other devotees. Always respect, and importantly, we should be very careful in engaging in service of the Lord and never proud of our service. So, this is the activities of the Lord in the spiritual world. These are the activities of the Lord and his servants. And in the material world, the same opportunity is given to us by the spiritual master. Service to spiritual master is same as service to Krishna. Mad bhakta puja bhyadika. You serve my devotee, Krishna says. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado. Pleasing the spiritual master is pleasing Krishna. So this is a great boon we have been given. Even though we are in this material world, we are given the opportunity of serving Krishna, serving Krishna's movement by serving the spiritual master. So as long as we do this service, we are in the spiritual world, even if we don't realize it. The more we chant, the more we serve, the more we will realize that actually we are in the spiritual world. Because it is an illusion to think we are this body. That is why it is called false ego, ahankara. To think ahamkara means to think I am this body. Actually, we are spirit soul. So the more we act on that platform of the spirit soul, the more we are in that spiritual energy under the shelter of Radharani. Srila Prabhupada often quoted this verse. Mahatmanastu mam partha daivim prakritimashritah. So one who is a Mahatma is always engaged in Krishna service. He is in the shelter of Daivi Prakriti, not Maya Prakriti. He is under the shelter of internal energy, Radharani, not under the subjugation of Durga Devi. So, Mahatma, that person is a Mahatma. Mahatma is actually a very popular term, but unfortunately, people don't always know what a Mahatma is according to Bhagavad Gita. One time when Prabhupada was in Bombay, at the time Bombay, he was preaching in a program, and an Indian gentleman asked him, Swamiji, India is a land of Mahatmas. So many Mahatmas have taken birth in India, and even today there are many Mahatmas. But still, we have so many problems. How can this be when we have so many Mahatmas? And Srila Prabhupada replied, the reason you have so many problems is because you cannot distinguish who is a Mahatma from who is not. It's very important because it is true that by taking shelter of a Mahatma, one is relieved from all sorts of problems. Mahat sevam dwara mahur vimuktehe. By serving a Mahatma, the door to liberation is open. But if you serve a Duratma in the name of Mahatma, your door to hell is open. All problems will come. So we have to be able to understand, to recognize who is a Mahatma. That Bhagavad Gita clearly defines. One who is always under the protection of divine nature by fully engaged in devotional service. Mahatmanastu mam partha daivim prakriti mashritaha bhajanti ananya manaso. One who is fully engaged in devotional service with mind fully absorbed in Krishna. Mahatma means the category of devotee like Srila Prabhupada. And by serving that kind of a Mahat, Srila Prabhupada, we develop the qualities of a Mahatma. And then we take shelter of Radharani. So the process is simple. Srila Prabhupada said, to chant Hare Krishna is very simple. But to maintain the determination to chant is not so simple. Many times I talk to devotees who come to the temple on Sundays or visitors other days. So I ask them how your chanting is going on. Prabhuji, one round I wanted to chant, I took the oath, but somehow I cannot chant. Sometimes, occasionally, when I come to temple, I chant. See, even one round, not able to maintain. So chanting is very easy. You simply very nicely chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. But to maintain the determination is not so simple. Therefore, we require the association of devotees. The devotees who are following the Mahatma, who are in the process of becoming Mahatmas, who have the determination to follow the Mahatma. And then when you are in the association, it becomes easier. Like you come to temple for Mangalarti. How nicely you will chant. Everybody is chanting. And that energy, the mind will not come up with excuses. It is easy to chant Hare Krishna with devotees. But if you leave the association of devotees, it becomes hard. Because now you are with other people who have their own thought process, who influence you with their own thoughts, with their own deeds, and then slowly that enthusiasm and determination will wane. So this process is simple, but the basics have to be done right. Come what may, we have to seek the association of devotees. And on a daily basis, if we cannot get association, we have to associate with Prabhupada through his books, by hearing him through his Vani. Now we have so much of social media. It has become, even though it is full of Maya, but the pure devotees' vibrations also have become so accessible. So if we do that, then Krishna says, even though we are in this material world, we are not off it. We may be in it, but we are not off it. What does it mean? Just like a lotus flower, The lotus flower is in the water, but it does not become wet just like you pour water on the surface of the leaf. ब्रह्मणि आधाय कर्माणि संगम त्यक्त्वा करोति यः लिप्यते न स पापेन padmapatram ivambhasa. So when you are fully absorbed in Krishna and engaged in the service of Krishna, doing the activities for Krishna, the material contamination cannot touch you or affect you, just like the water on the surface of the lotus leaf just flows away. It cannot contaminate or affect the lotus leaf. So, like that. So, by our consciousness, we can be with Radha Krishna by always thinking of Krishna, by always chanting. And the beauty is that we can do anywhere and everywhere. We can do it at home. Gruhe dhako, vane dhako, sada hari bole dhako. Sukhe dukhe bhulo nako, vadane hari nam korore. Gai Gaura Madhur Spare. So Lord Gaura is singing with his beautiful voice. Whether you are at home, Gruhe Dako, Vane Dako, or at home or at forest, that means you are a Grihastha or a sannyasi. Wherever you go, you may travel or you stay at home. You're working or a housewife. Gruhe Dako, Vane Dako, Sada Hari Bole Dako. Always chant the holy name of Krishna. Whether you are in distress or happiness, sometimes you may be in distress. Oh my God, what to do? Let me take care of this. Chanting can be pushed out for a couple of days until this problem is solved. No. Sukhe dukkhe bhulo nako. Don't forget chanting. These dualities will always happen. Problems will always happen in this world. Or sometimes there is happiness. Nothing shall last. Everything shall pass. But the holy name should remain. So if we can engage in that kind of constant hearing and chanting, at least whatever vows we have taken, we should keep up that vows, come what may. Because the dualities of the world will continue. But if we keep the vow, Krishna will notice it. Krishna will release his mercy. And Krishna will actively play a part in your life to make you even progress further. So I'll stop here. Anyone has any questions or comments? Bhagavad Gita as it is ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.